Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video, I will showcase the medium budget version of the Cold Flicker Strike, and this is on the Raider. So for those of you that likes to zoom your maps, this is definitely the build for you. I can guarantee you definitely this is the fastest mapper in the game right now and has always been. There isn't a skill that has been released that can outscale Flicker Strike map clear ability. Okay, this is really very fast. Like if you would like me to rate how fast can this Flicker Strike clear, I will tell it's like S. I don't know, infinite number of S. Okay, this build is just insane at clear speed. The only problem is whether your PC is able to handle all the chaotic interactions with this build, because you are going so fast. I don't know, your PC might just lag out or DC halfway. Yeah, it just depends on how good your PC can handle it. Okay, but nonetheless, I guarantee you, even if you are dying a bit or struggling with life because you are taking too much spell damage or something like that, this build is still extremely fun to play with. Okay, and just a quick view of the build. The estimated cost of this build, right, without skill gems is about 46 exalts. Okay, so for those of you that have been following me for quite some time, I always try to make my medium budget build around 50 exalts. I try not to go over it. But in some circumstances, it's always just plus minus, you know, you cannot make everything so exact. So yeah, without skill gems is 46 exalts, and with skill gems is 65 exalts. Okay, I have the buy list in the description below. You can always go and click, and with the trade filters, everything all set up, is quite easy to purchase it. Okay, and just want to go through a quick one for the DPS. So for the mapping DPS, right, we have freaking 12 million DPS. Okay, okay, maybe 11 DPS. I should not take into consideration of Protector and Watcher because we're just going to zoom through. But 11 DPS is really insane for mapping. Okay, probably you're just gonna right click or press one button and see yourself at the end of the map in, like, I don't know, less than a minute or even faster. Yeah, it's really very insane. And for bossing DPS, we have about 10.5 million or so. Okay, so some of you might ask me, like, why are the DPS difference not really so much? So before that, for bossing DPS, I've changed the configuration to fight Shaper/Guardians, so it's more accurate and realistic. And this is the DPS I get. Okay, so we will not be using melee splash, so instead we'll be replacing it with awakening elemental damage with attacks, because we don't need splash in bossing. Okay, so one thing to take note, and that will be a DPS we get against bossing. Okay, so like for map bosses, guys, don't need to change out the gems, don't need to swap out the skill gems. Map bosses are pretty easy to kill with just 12k DPS on your mapping damage per second. Okay, and survivability type, this is definitely a glass cannon build. Okay, you just want to go fast, don't really care about your life or whatsoever. You kill them before they kill you. That's how the build works, because it just goes very fast. Okay, but still there is some sort of threshold or ceiling that we need for survivability. I can't be going in with 2000 life and hope I can survive every single map. No way that's gonna happen. So we will have about 3.7k life, and this is like at level 90. Okay, so at level 90 you have these stats with about 11k evasion rating. Block chance is because we are using a shield. This is just the base block chance of it, 25%, not really awesome, but good to have. And we will have spell suppression chance of 84% also. So a lot of times we will be taking half damage of spells. Resistance is capped, just at plus 1% for cold resistance, and you can see chaos resistance is negative. So if you're gonna take chaos damage, good luck to that. I think we'll probably die quite fast. Otherwise, if you survive, then good, you will life leech back very quickly. Okay, so on to the skill tree. This is how your level 90 skill tree will look like. I have included other levels of skill tree also. So if you are progressing well, there's a level 95 and there's a level 101. Basically, they're all adding more lives. Okay, you can see at level 95 we actually have already 4,200 life. I think that's actually considerably high for glass cannon build. Okay, then at level 100 is just still more life. The damage is already there. We don't need more damage. We will just go for more survivability. Okay, other than that, if you are starting this out as a brand new character, I have one that is level 68 after Act 10. Because you're not going to flicker strike at less than level 68, you're going to have a lot of problems equipping your items and stuff. And then one is at level 80, which is like the middle portion of the build. You already have your items, but you're still trying to level them up. This is for you. And then the real part or the real fun comes in when you're at level 90. Okay, so using level 90 as the threshold or benchmark over here. And just things to take note. The Letter Pride Timeless Jewel should be in this socket here, because every single stats nodes, attribute nodes that we take is gonna have a +2 strength, and it's actually kind of required for the build, because it's very hard to find attributes in the build. I will go over through it later on, where you can find it in your equipments or jewels whatsoever. But yeah, this should be here so that we have additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have additional 10 strength over here. Okay, the watcher side then can be over here, and the rest of them is just yeah, it's quite normal. Just that we are using 2 large cluster only, and only 2 medium cluster jewels. We will not be using more than 2 medium cluster jewels, because we don't really need crit rate anymore, and it's better to scale other parts of the 3 nodes, as it gives us more damage than the medium cluster jewels. That it's actually quite hard to scale, so I decided not to go for 2 more medium cluster jewels, because that will mean I will need 8 additional passive skill points. Okay, it's quite hard to find them, considering how we need to scale our life and suppress damage and crit multiplier as well. Okay, so another thing to take note, some of you might be asking me, why do I need to take equity here? The accuracy is and has always been a problem for melee builds. Okay, so you see, if I'm gonna take out, right, I'm gonna have 99% hit chance only. It's always best to have it at 100% hit chance, because you don't want to be missing it, and plus this node over here has been affected by intuitive leap, so we can just take it to solve our problems. Okay, and here is just for the additional maximum cold resistance, evasion rating, and elemental resistance, which is also quite hard to get, because we'll be having a lot of unique items. And with the additional +1 cold resistance, right, we will be able to use Wise Oak more effectively. So Wise Oak is a unique flask over here. Like during flask effect, damage penetrates 8% resistance of each element for which your uncapped element resistance is highest. Okay, so because our cold resistance is highest, it will penetrate 8% cold resistance. Okay, on to the skill gems. So this is the setup. You have Flicker Strike, Multi Strike. So for Multi Strike, right, I'm not going to include Awaken Multi Strike, because we all know that skill gem is just goddamn expensive, and I feel it is not needed. Okay, but if you are feeling rich, you want to buy, it's possible, it's okay, but the damage increment will be about 1 million, I think. Is it 1 million? Okay, yeah, it's about 1 million more DPS. Okay, so if you feel that spending 15 exalts for 1 million more damage is good, then please go ahead and buy it. Otherwise, the normal multi-strike is more than enough. Okay, it is definitely more than enough. And then next will be melee splash. So for melee splash, right, I have took the anomalous here, because anomalous grants 20% more melee damage. It actually has a little bit of impact on the DPS, but you want to get a default one, is fine as well, but the anomalous is not particularly expensive, so I just include 2020 anomalous ones. Otherwise, if you would like to go for the awakened melee splash as well, let me just try and here. So if you want to go for the awakened melee splash, it is possible as well. You have just a slight increment of damage, okay, not really a lot, but otherwise just the melee splash will do. Okay, actually the increment is not significant at all, it's just the splash around it, but like I say, this is not really needed. But if you are feeling rich, you want to get an awakened melee splash because you know, just want to dope or make your skill gems look nice with a lot of awakened gems, please go ahead. And then this is for bossing, okay, so do remember to swap it up if you are fighting shaper, guardians, unique bosses or whatever, except map bosses, okay. So take out melee splash, put in awaken elemental damage with attacks, okay. This is for bossing, and then this is for mapping, okay, do remember that. And on to our thrilling totems. For your ancestral protector, go ahead with the Phantasma version because it has increased buff effect, which will increase our attack speed. Okay, otherwise you can just go for a default one, but then again, it's not particularly expensive or has some crazy prices like more than 5 exalts or whatever. I think it's less than 1 exalt, so it's pretty nice to get this over here. And next will be cast when damage taken. Please do take note of the level here. I have put it at level 8 and level 10 for Immortal Core. This is so that whenever you take about 1000 damage, it will straight away trigger cast when damage taken, okay. So please take note of that. If you want to increase this level or decrease this level, it's definitely fine. You just need to remember to scale together with Immortal Core, okay. Steel Skin is not linked to the skill, okay. Some of you might ask me, why are you not linking Steel Skin? Okay, the reason is very simple. We want to have Steel Skin as high level as possible because we just want to put it on our left click whenever we walk, lip slam or whatever. We're gonna eat this. We're gonna take in or soak in this damage before we start flickering when the monsters are right in front of us. Otherwise, let's say example you have 3.7k life, you just lip slam or walk into a pack of mob and they are range or projectile mobs. There will be instances where you are not in range of them and they will shoot you first, and then you'll just die before you can start flickering. So that's why I have put the Steel Skin here. At least you have the effect and you can walk into the pack of mobs with about 6000 life, okay. And this thing grants immunity to bleeding. I mean, now with the recent changes, granting to immunity to bleeding is really very nice on Steel Skin. Okay, next is our curse debuff, the Vortex Hex Touch, Frostbite and Bone Chill. Please do take note of the level as well. I've only put this at level 6 and level 12. So some of you might ask me why. It's because of the intelligence requirement, okay? As you can see, Vortex only requires 96 and Hex Touch requires 96. If you were to look at the stats required, the highest is actually Frostbite, which is at 100, okay. 100 is like at level 21. So that's why I am not going higher than that, because if I go higher, actually you can go slightly higher than that, it's fine. So 713 is also fine. Just make sure to not go over it because we do not have more intelligence. Okay, if you go over it, then you won't be able to use the skill gems, and there's really nothing more that you can, as in it doesn't even deal more damage or AoE for Vortex. It doesn't deal like more curse effect for Head Touch, so there's no reason to increase the level, okay. You can even keep this at level 1, both of them at level 1 is fine, no problem. Okay, and the utility is just Lip Slam, Faster Attack, Life Tap and Blood Rage. So something to take note here, your Lip Slam can be level 1 with 0 quality. Okay, there isn't a need for the quality. You can even be at 1 and 0. 0. Okay, this is fine as well because you just want to jump. There isn't any increased attack speed or whatsoever. It's just more damage. So you don't really need this at high level and quality, but I mean, good to have, right, if you have more, because you're still dealing damage with lip slam. Where is my lip slam? Yeah, here. Okay, so for every slam you're still dealing about 500k DPS, 500 and 570. I mean, decent, but what's the point, right? And then life tap, there is no reason to level it also. You can just get these 2 gems from the NPC if you want. Okay. And last is our aura, hatred, herald eyes, and precision. Please get this at level 21 because level 21 makes quite a lot of difference. And the last gem will be enlighten. Okay, for this one, I would say it is not particularly important or needed. Okay, let's say I'm gonna remove enlighten. For our mana now, it is 114 left with 17% unreserved. If I'm going to remove it, I'm still left with 66 and 10%. Okay, it is not the worst, but it is doable. The only problem you will have is because our mana regeneration is so low and we have rage regeneration. You might run into problems if you are casting too many things, like maybe cast when damage taken, steal skin, and then flicker strike. You might not have enough. And vortex as well. Where is vortex? So yeah, vortex costs about 14 mana, I think, or maybe more than that because of Hexarch multiplier. So you might not have enough mana. That is why I included in the enlighten. But I can tell you safely, it is not necessarily needed. Okay, but to be safe, if you have the currency, just add it in. Otherwise, you can add a portal or something to this. I don't know. Whatever other utility that you like. Okay, on to our items. Our weapon will be using Paradoxica. I think this is very straightforward. You don't really have to find the best exact stats or modifier on this. Just find one with attacks with this weapon penetrate a number of elemental resistance. Okay, just this line of mod is fine already. Okay, you don't have to get like some crazy high tier insane modifiers on this. No, just this modifier is good enough. Attacks with this weapon deal double damage is a fixed modifier on Paradoxica. Okay, then for our shield, we are just gonna go with evasion shield with life and resist. Because we are using quite a lot of unique items, so we have to find resistance on other items, and one of them is your shield. So try to find one with a free prefix slot so that you can craft cold damage onto it. Okay, it doesn't have to be a Redimir. It doesn't have to be a Redimir item, okay? But if you are able to find one, it will be nice to have elemental damage with attack skills on it. Okay, it actually adds quite a fair bit. As you can see, my DPS increased like about 400 to 500k DPS, but other than that, it's really not needed. Okay, it is really not needed. Okay, so for a helmet, go with the replica abysses. This is a very no-brainer as well. And the thing I want to mention about here is the enchantments. Okay, so for the enchantments, there is 2 enchantments you can go for. One is 9% increased flicker strike damage per frenzy charge. The other one is you can just go for the 40% increased flicker strike damage. Okay, either one is fine. You don't really have to be very specific, but the enchantments, do not search on the market with it because it's going to be very expensive or crazy. Just take your time to do Uber Lab and slowly hunt for it with twice enchanted. Okay, and then next will be Pharaoh's Fur. I think really nothing much to explain about Pharaoh's Fur. Just find one with high life and high armor evasion, and then just make it 6 link yourself. When you have the higher quality you have, the easier it will be to make the 6 link. Otherwise, you can just corrupt it and then use the Tainted Jewelers. No, not Jewelers Orb. The Orb of Fusing for the Tainted version that you can do on your corrupted items, and just pray for the best. I mean, not really recommended, but yeah, this is another method. Okay, next will be the glove. So for the glove, right, this is our glove. You will need to use Awakener's Orb. Basically, one of them is the Warlock modifier and one is the Hunter modifier. and then you're gonna fuse them with the Awakener's Orb and then craft maximum life on it. Okay, I know this is actually very difficult to craft life because both of them are already prefixed. So in situations where you don't have a prefix modifier, there is two options over here. One is you can YOLO it with Orb of Annulment and then pray for the best, but not really recommended. Otherwise, just go without the life. Okay, these two skills is actually very important for the build. I mean, +1 frenzy charge is super important, we all know that, right? And skill strike additional one more times, which means we're gonna splash twice as much. Okay, and then for the boots, we're gonna go with Dark Ray Vectors, also very straightforward here. And then next for our amulet, okay, amulet, we're gonna go with a Gate Amulet. This is also using Awakener's Orb, so it will be the Elder Redeemer mod. So Redeemer will be increased damage per frenzy charge, and then the Elder mod will be increased attack speed. Okay, there's actually other good modifiers on this, but they are mostly on the prefix. So I don't want to take my chances and risk putting another prefix because that will mean we cannot craft life onto our amulet. Okay, it's better to have one prefix and one suffix and then fuse them together so that we have more chances to craft to bench craft maximum life on the prefix of the amulet. Okay, and for the anointment, I go ahead with Disembowering. Disembowering is actually over here. It provides 50 critical strike chance and 25% melee crit strike multiplier. Okay, so this is just one option. If you don't want to go for this, you want a cheaper alternative, you can go for Divine Judgment, which gives you 50% increased elemental damage. Let me just do a quick check. So Divine Judgment. Okay, so have a look here. So we have 12.3 million now at the moment, right? If I were to anoint this, my damage is going to drop about 500k. Okay, so I mean, you have already spent so much at this point. I don't think there is any reason not to spend this on the anointment. So yeah, the best probably is Disembowering. I think there might be other better anointments, but I'm just gonna go ahead with this. And then for our rings, just go with 2 Circle of Fear. Okay, there is no implicit on this because the implicit is very random. I'm not gonna take into accountability for it. Just find one with increased cold damage while affected by Herald Eyes, and Herald Eyes has increased buff effect. Okay, you don't really have to find the max stats for this because otherwise it's going to be super extremely expensive. Okay, so just buy one with these 2 modifier and then use Divine Orb and roll until you get both that has a high roll. Technically it's cheaper this way. And then use a Turbulent Catalyst on it so that it has even more increased cold damage and buff effect. Okay, I did not mention, sorry, for your Agate Amulet, right, the Catalyst, honestly, there isn't really much choice you can go here. So if or when you craft the maximum life, you can use the Fertile Catalyst to have more life instead. Okay, last is this. So, this is actually something is missing here. Grants level 20 aspect of the cat. Okay, I'm not sure why is this gone. Oh, that's much higher DPS. Okay, so yes, this is our Stygian Vice belt. We're gonna find life and resistance on it. It's just really that simple. Find one with maximum life and fire and cold resistance. Okay, then you, if possible, try to find one with an extra prefix slot, a free prefix slot, so that you can craft elemental damage with attacks onto here. And then make sure it has a free suffix slot also, because you need to craft level 20 aspect of the cat onto this. Okay, I mean, this is not mandatory. You can actually craft it on any other rare items as long as it has a additional free suffix slot, but I've just crafted it on this. And yeah, this is just something you need to take note. Okay, you have to craft this, otherwise your Pharaoh's Fur is gonna be useless. Like you can see, after I have included this modifier, my DPS jumped by quite a whole lot bit. Okay, gonna save this. And then for our Abyssal Jewel, I'm just gonna go ahead with fire resistance, fire and lightning resistance, maximum life, and critical strike multiplier. Just one of this. Okay. I don't think this is very expensive. It's not hard to find. The reason we are going fire and lightning resistance is because we already have quite a fair bit of cold resistance, so you have to find other sources of fire and lightning resistance. Okay, and then your intuitive leap, ladder pride, little pride, sorry, and watcher's eyes. So for the watcher's eyes, right, just go for one with increased critical strike chance while affected by hatred. Okay, don't really need to have any other things there. If you want to change, it's fine as well, but your DPS is going to drop quite considerably. So I would say the best in slot is definitely the critical strike chance, because it's going to give us a whole lot base of cold damage. Okay, yeah, as you can see, I'm going through the modifiers, and the best one is still definitely with the additional critical strike chance. Okay, you can see over there. So just go for this. I think it's about 8 exalts or 7 exalt around there. Okay, and then now on to the life flask. So the life flask, we're going to go for diamond flask with crit strike chance, silver flask with additional attack speed, and then Aziri's promise and wise oak. Okay, I didn't include bottle fate because we all know bottle fate is just goddamn expensive. One, I think, is about, how much was it now? 13 exalts or 14 exalts? Yeah, if you have the currency, then sure, why not? You can just buy a bottle fate. Bottle fate is just super, it's just very good. Okay, there's no doubt about this. Bottle fate, if I'm going to add in, oh, it actually doesn't add a lot. Is it because our crit strike chance is capped? Yeah, I think because our crit strike chance is kind of capped already. Okay. Wait, I need to add the configuration. Yeah, my bad. Okay, yeah, okay, oh my god, the damage is so high. So, we're gonna increase by a whole lot of damage, about 2 million with Bottle Fate. Okay, so if you have the currency, by all means, go ahead and buy it. Otherwise, just use the Aziri's promise. And then, have I closed that? Yeah, I've off it. Okay, so next will be the Wise Oak. This is going to give us elemental resistance. Do take note, right? If I'm going to remove the Wise Oak, our resistance is not going to be capped. Okay, so it's actually very hard to find resistance over here. You can find it on your, as in additional resistance on your jewels or crimson jewel, but those are just bonus. My large and medium cluster jewels doesn't have additional modifiers as well, so you can look for that. Otherwise, with Wise Oak, we are going to cap our resistance. And then a simple life flask. And okay, on to that, I will go through the large cluster jewel first. So we're going to use two different kind of large cluster jewel. One is with cold damage, and one is with attack damage. Okay, so there is no additional modifier. So if you can find additional ones with like plus attributes or plus resistance, it'll be nice. And yeah, for our attack ones, we're gonna go with Calamicious for more elemental damage, Fuel the Fight more for the mana leeching, and then Martial Prowess is definitely the next best in slot for our suffix cluster jewel. And then for our cold cluster jewel, Blanket Snow, Doriani's Lesson, and Prismatic Heart is the best. Okay, if Blanket Snow is not findable, you can just go with Blast. What's the other one's called? Sorry, it's called Blast Freeze, right? Yeah, so you can go with Blast Freeze as well. It works. It definitely works to just slightly lower DPS. Okay, and medium cluster jewel, like I mentioned, we're going to go with two of them, and both are the same. You can go with Basics of Pain, is kind of like mandatory. The other one is Precise Retaliation. You can go for any other. So you can even go for was it Overwhelming? No, it's you can go for Pressure. Oh, sorry, it's the other one. Pressure Points. You can go for Pressure Points, or you can even go for Quick Getaway. It doesn't really matter. The DPS is gonna just maintain around that range. Okay, and then we're just going to go the rest. This is actually very important, so please do take note. We will have stats problem, and that is why on my Crimson Jewel, you can see I have actually allocated strength and intel just to cover it up for this small amount left of intelligence required, and then go one for life and crit strike multiplier. Okay, there are other sources of critical strike multiplier I've included in my trait filter, so do not worry about getting specifically this melee critical strike multiplier. Okay, I've just put this here for sure. There is definitely other critical strike multiplier, so you can even use one with one-handed melee weapon, or one with dual wielding, okay, or one with cold skills. It doesn't matter, I've included it in the trait filter. Okay, and this is just one jewel only. Okay, this for the other crimson jewel, we're gonna go one with pure strength attribute. Okay, this is to cover up for the strength required, as we need a total of 159 strength, I think. Wait, where is it? Yeah, 159 is okay. Actually, it's 155 because steel skin is level 21. So 159 also is the max we need, and that is why I have decided to search for strength on this crimson jewel. In another way, it is not very expensive as well, because I'm not looking for a double critical strike multiplier on the jewels. Okay, yeah, like I mentioned, sulfur flask is a bonus, but other than that, this is how the item goes for the medium budget version. Okay, on to the Q&A section. First, what is this build capable of? I can say this build is capable of most of your endgame bosses, like example Uber Elder, Shaper, Guardians, and those kind of bosses. It is definitely doable. Okay, I'm not sure for the new Uber Elder contents like the flawless bridgestones and stuff, because I have not attempted it yet. I don't know how strong are they, and I will not be trying it out anytime soon. I'm still building up my own medium budget version. Okay, 100% Delirious is definitely doable. T10 Scourge map, yes, is doable, but it really depends on what your map modifiers are. Like example, if the map modifier is you take 9000 physical damage while going into nightmare mode, I can tell you that one is definitely not capable. I don't even think any build is capable of doing that. And then invitations, this build is definitely capable of doing invitations except the fear. Okay, I'm really not sure about the fear, because the fear is really very difficult. When you go into the fear, their HP is just buffed up with their damage, so I am not sure if this build is capable of like killing the boss before all 4 of them spawn. Okay, I have not attempted it, but seeing how high the damage is, you can definitely try on white version of the fear. And then if you actually do try it out, please leave your comments below and let me know if this build is capable of it. Okay, second, if the gems are too expensive, can I get a lower level non-awakened version or default quality of it? Yes, definitely you can. It really depends on how much you want to invest in it. I will say at least prioritize on your 6-link flicker strike first, because since it's like your bread and butter of the build, I would pour all my currency into it before considering other skill gems. Okay, so next, how do you self-craft the rare equipments with double influence? If you are not buying it and if you want to craft it yourself, this is how you do it. So I'm just using the glove as an example. Okay, the amulet is the same. You just need to look out for the specific influence modifier. So step 1, buy all your items. One of the gloves must be the base that you want, which is spike gloves, because spike gloves gives us 20% increased melee damage. And then make sure the item only has one line of influence modifier. So let's say if it's the warlock item, it only has to have this +1 to maximum frenzy charges. Okay, it cannot have another warlock modifier. Same goes for the hunter gloves. It only has to have this strike skills target 1 additional nearby enemy. It cannot have 2 or more influence modifier, because if you have 2 or more, the Awakener's Orb will only take 1 of them at random. Okay, so you might fuse them and then accidentally see +1 maximum frenzy charge, and the other one might not even be this strike skills target 1 additional nearby enemy. So this is really very important. Please take note, you can only have one of the influence modifier before fusing them. Okay, step 2, you right click on your Awakener's Orb and then left click on the item that is not the spike glove. So in this scenario, it is your hunter item, which is the sling gloves that has this modifier. And then the last one will be the left click on the item that is the spike gloves. Okay, because this is the last item that you want your base to be, which is your spike glove. Otherwise, if you were to go the opposite direction, which is you right click on Awakener's Orb, left click on your spike glove, and then left click on your sling glove, your base is going to be sling glove. Okay, so in short, whatever that you last click will be the base of your item. Okay, step 3, you need to check for any free prefix slot and then benchcraft maximum life onto it. Okay, because after fusing, the number of modifiers on the item is completely random. Okay, you can have another 4 additional modifiers with prefix and suffix. You can have 1 additional prefix or suffix slot as well. It's totally random. Okay, so step 4, if it doesn't have a free prefix slot, there are actually 2 options over here, or actually 3. Okay, so one is you can YOLO your Orb of Annulment for a free prefix slot or even a suffix slot. You just need to be really man and do it. I don't know. I would not recommend for the gloves, but the amulet is possible. Like I mentioned, it might remove your key modifier. Okay, so you need to beware. Like if you fuse already and then it remove your maximum frenzy charges, like God bless you, you have to do the item all over again. So you have to weigh the pros and cons and see whether if it's worth it to do. Okay. Second, you have to check if there's a free suffix slot, and then you can always benchcraft something else like resistance, or you can even benchcraft your aspect of the cat over here. It's possible when you have a free suffix slot, or attributes. It's fine. Okay. And if you don't have life, if you cannot benchcraft maximum life with it, this is just something that you have no choice but to live with it. Okay, just really there is not it's not an option over here unless you just buy straight up the item with these 2 modifiers and then check the item for maximum life or a free prefix slot to craft onto it. Okay. Next, do you have a leveling guide for it? I think this is one of the most sought question. Yes, I do have one, but it is in the low budget version. So please check out the low budget version, the POB of it. It is inside. Okay, I don't want to copy paste everything into the medium budget version because it's quite tiring. Okay, next, will you be doing a high budget build for this? The answer is no, I will not be doing it because it is very expensive and this is as far as it goes. High budget is not something usually me as a casual player will reach to because it usually costs a mirror or more. Yes, the damage will probably jump short, like I don't know, maybe around 40 million or something like that. Yeah, it is quite ridiculously high, but I feel it is not needed. Okay, it is always not needed because unless you want to have some self-achievement unlock and complete the field or something like that, then you'll reach onto there. But to me as a casual player, it's not something that is worth investing into when I can complete like maybe more than 90% of the game contents in POE. Right, there's no reason for me to spend my time farming mirrors and doing my builds until high budget just to kill the fear or something like that. I mean, you know what I mean. Okay, that comes to the end of my build guide. If there are any other questions, please come to my Discord and ask, or leave your questions in the comments below. Also, do let me know if I've actually missed out anything or there are some mistakes in my POB or whatsoever. Okay, I will appreciate that. Other than that, I will say this build is actually extremely satisfying to play with. Not something that you build every league, but this is just one of the few leagues that is worth playing because of how fast it is capable of clearing. For those of you that have actually already tried a high tier Scourge maps or go into the Scourge or whatsoever, you will understand that the Scourge is all about fast clearing because it drains out the time of you entering into the nightmare mode or the crucible, and you have to really clear very fast. Otherwise, you have to always constantly find sources that can generate the blood meter or something like that. Yeah, that is why Flicker Strike is, I will arguably say, one of the better builds that can do the Scourge. Okay. And once again, thank you for watching. Do remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more video contents from me. I will see you again in the next video. Thank you. Bye.